Hey you, yeah you, do you want to hear a secret? Hey everyone, I'm Chelsea Tornetto with At Home Author, and I'm a traditionally published children's book author. Today I'm going to share with you some insider secrets about my job that might surprise you. Before we get started, if you want to be a children's book author, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can share lots of great information about writing and publishing for kids. Secret number 1, I don't get to pick the illustrator. In fact, I've never actually met any of the illustrators for any of my picture books. Traditional publishers have total control over a book project, so they get to choose the illustrator. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to take your vision and tear it apart and it's going to be unrecognizable. I do get to provide art notes like this. And I often get to see the rough black and white sketches of the illustrations and give feedback or make requests. But final decisions are ultimately up to the publisher. Why? First of all, illustrators are incredibly talented professionals, and oftentimes they have an even better vision for the book than anything I would have thought of. So it's a good idea to get a little distance as the author and give them some freedom to be creative. Another reason the publishers discourage direct communication between author and illustrator is that both tend to take their work pretty personally, and having the publisher act as the neutral party who controls communication can avoid hurt feelings. It also just makes sense because the publisher is going to ultimately make all the final decisions, so keeping that chain of command clear is helpful. Secret number 2, I've actually never met my editor or publisher in person. Now, this obviously may not be true for every author, every situation is different, but many books that are published traditionally are produced in a 100% remote situation. Agents, editors, illustrators, formatters, printers do all of their work over email and Zoom, and a book can end up on Barnes & Noble shelves without any of those people having met each other in person or even being in the same state. What a world, right? Secret number 3, when that new release hits shelves, it's already old news to me. I really never get tired of talking about my books, but traditional publishing moves at a snail's pace, and the book that just came out likely took me several years to write and submit to publishers, and then it takes a publisher up to 2 years to actually have the book produced and published and out on the shelves. In addition, I've probably spent the past 6 months filling out marketing sheets for the publisher, doing interviews with bloggers, setting up podcasts, writing bios, and honestly, by the time that book comes out, it's new to you, but it's definitely old news to me. I'm already working on that next book. Secret number 4 is that I work with many different publishers. Who's your publisher is a really common question that authors get, and for some of them it makes sense, but for picture book authors, it kind of doesn't. If you're J.K. Rowling and you have this series of novels, or if you have a series of picture books, then it's very likely that that series is going to stay with the same publisher. But for picture book authors like me, who write individual books that are all a little bit different, that's not the case. My agent submits each new manuscript to dozens of different publishers who might be interested based on the topic, the genre, the style. And I can sell each manuscript to a different publisher if I want to. Every publisher is looking for something slightly different. Many authors have a writing style that varies from manuscript to manuscript, so it just makes sense to work with whoever's the best fit. Secret number 5. Most of my income actually doesn't come from royalties. The average royalty rate for a picture book author is somewhere between 5 and 15% of the sale price of the book. Many hardcover children's picture books sell for around $18. If you do the math, that means I'm making about $1 per book. The total amount I make obviously depends on how many copies of the book sell. And while there's a wide range there as well, generally, children's picture books will sell between 5,000 and 10,000 copies in their lifetime. So if I make roughly $1 per book and I sell, let's say, 5,000 copies, on that book I've made $5,000. But remember, that's over the lifetime of the book, so it's going to take a long time for that money to come in. Obviously, this isn't going to provide a full-time income, so many authors have real jobs that pay the bills, or they supplement their income with related services like school visits or editing. Are there some picture book authors who make a full-time living just from royalties? Absolutely. But most people are still pretty surprised when I tell them that I only make about $1 for every book sold. And secret number 6, writing a 500-word picture book is a little harder than you think. I've written a lot of different things in my life. Research papers in college, I've written a middle grade novel, chapter book, an instructional strategies book for teachers, and tons of blog posts. And I can tell you that writing a picture book, which even if it's less than 500 words, is one of the hardest things to write. Picture books seem easy because they're so short and they're for kids. How hard can it be? But a picture book has to include all of the elements of a great story, just in a shorter space. You have to have emotion, a great plot with twists and turns, a surprise at the end, that emotional appeal that pulls on people's heartstrings, and you have to do it all in such a tiny space. It's kind of like packing for a 2-week-long vacation with just a carry-on. You really have to decide what has to be included, what you can leave out, and what's still gonna make that vacation great. So don't underestimate a picture book writer. If you have questions about what it's like to be a children's book author, feel free to drop them in the comments below or come check out athomeauthor.com. We have tons of blog posts, videos, and a course that will teach you everything you need to know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.